It was on our third date when Samantha told me something that would change everything. We were watching a movie at her place when I tried to kiss her. She stopped me with her hand and said, "There's something you need to know." I braced myself for the worst, thinking she was about to break up with me. But then she said, "I'm not ready for a relationship." "Nothing to do with you, of course." I nodded, but then she dropped the big surprise. "I have a removable face." I couldn't believe it. "What do you mean, a removable face?" She lifted her chin and pointed to a faint seam along her jawline. "You can see the seam. It's not a metaphor. It's literal." It was hard to believe, but she seemed serious. She told me I couldn't ask about the how or why, but that it was non-negotiable. She even explained that every evening she had to remove it, disinfect it, and that during that time, I must never look at her real face. I was in shock but agreed. "Okay, I won't look." Later, when she came out after cleaning, I was still there. She smiled and I realized I still wanted to be with her. We continued dating, moved in together, and eventually decided to marry. During the day, it was easy to forget about her face. But every night, she would retreat to the bathroom, taking her face off to clean it. I tried not to be curious, but I couldn't help it. I asked her many times about it, but she always brushed it off. "You know you can't see it," she'd say. One night, years into our marriage, I told my best friend, Chris, about it. At first, he thought I was joking, but after explaining more, he suggested I set up a camera to see her real face. I didn't want to betray her trust, but then one weekend, Chris was visiting. He and Samantha were hanging out while I took a work call. When I returned, I heard screams coming from the house. I rushed in to find Chris stumbling out of the bathroom, stabbing at his eyes with a paperclip. Samantha was crying, saying, "Don't come in. I don't have my face on. Call an ambulance." I had a horrible realization. Her real face was so horrifying, so beyond comprehension, that seeing it could break someone's mind. Chris was taken to the hospital, and I lied to the paramedics, claiming he had taken drugs. I didn't want anyone to know the truth. No one would believe me. Now, Chris is in a psychiatric hospital, and Samantha's face has started to smell. It's crooked when she puts it back on, and she rarely cleans it anymore. She blames herself for what happened, but I keep telling her it wasn't her fault. It was Chris's choice to look. Despite everything, I can't shake the curiosity. I want to know what her real face looks like more than ever, but I know better than to ask.